changes which happened after his amputation, well, I can say I was changed into a overnight nurse. That's one. Not knowing how to deal with the patient, how to... His morale was down, not only him, everyone in the family, myself included. A person who is fit, the father, the husband who is fit, well, all of a sudden is down. And there's not the job you're supposed to be doing, it has to be cancelled last minute because of this. So the roller coaster was too much for me to cope. But not only me, my son, my daughter, I'm sure the family members, those who were far away from us, him was worse.
Okay, so my name is Rufaro Gojoy, and I'm the last born to Lucky Gojoy and Joe Gojoy, which is my mom and dad, family of 4. And so when I got the news, I was actually away. Actually, I had actually decided to migrate to South Africa. At that time, I was working at one of the local radio stations in Botswana. So I decided to, just put everything down and take a leap of faith and take a risk. At that time, I had my best friend, may his soul rest in peace, Sky. He's wheelchair bound. He was. So he was helping me on my plans and me going to South Africa. So that time he actually came to pick me up, took me to the border, we left. So I had spent a month or 2 in South Africa, and then I received a call that he wasn't feeling well. Actually, his leg was swollen and it was sugar. So for me, it was mind-blowing because I would say I'm the closest child to my dad. I'm closer to him, and we speak in depth of a lot of things, plans when it comes to my business, my school, whatever I'm doing in my life. I put my dad into it first, and so for me it was quite devastating. He actually spoke to me after, whilst he was in hospital, and told me that there would be a possibility of him being amputated.
When it was announced, because I didn't know that I was on diabetes. When I was announced, it was not so much of a fright to me to say that I was diabetic, because I've come across a lot of people that are diabetic. And a lot of them are just moving around with taking their medication and all that. The only fright in this announcement that I was diabetic came in after the intervention of debriding my wound. You see, by virtue of the fact that it was their first time to see that swelling of my foot and seeing that blister, the intervention of taking that drastic step is what frightened me, to say, could this be the way to deal with a swollen foot or a blister? Why can't I be given some medication that is supposed to be fighting the swelling and treating the blister? So I just knew that what I would now face if I'm now diabetic is a regime of receiving treatment by virtue of taking tablets like what I see others doing, or taking any other medication, whether it's injections or tablets, I'm not sure, but that was not too much of a fright to me. What really just frightened me was the fact that I would be amputated.
It's generally on the mindset, just resetting the mind. Where sometimes you find that after something like that happens, you tend to get far away from the usual mindset. So him and I, we have a lot of common ground in the engineering field, where we have a lot, or our experiences have a lot in common. So I think it's just that mind resetting the mind, where when a guy has probably gone out of the normal, and you try and bring back the usual things, the talk, the jokes, the man talk, That's why I feel I managed to resuscitate that. When you lose a limb, I think generally it affects you psychologically or mentally, where you feel maybe since a part of you is off, you are not the same. Only to find out that no, it's just in the mind. It's just always works in the mind, whereby when you are in the comfort zone with somebody that you are free with, everything normalizes.
See, I'm a guy that has been very active. I'm into construction work. I do a lot of moving around. So being amputated would have needed me to be briefed or even counseled by professional people, probably over a period, to say what you are going through is an irreversible situation where you need to be amputated. Taking into consideration what I've just mentioned now, to say I'm a guy who does a lot of work, a lot of moving around construction sites and so forth. So just to get to the hospital that night and be told that you may have to be amputated that was a shock. So the proper explanation as to why came to me the following morning when I woke up, to say, no, we have tested your blood now, we realize that you are diabetic. I would say briefly, that is how I reacted to the fact that I now knew that I was diabetic. So my main worry really about this whole experience is the manner in which that swelling and the blister were regarded or were treated. Up to now, no medical person, I've asked around, no medical person has told me that that is the way it should have been done. It really appears like they are all surprised to say, what is happening? And the most surprising thing to a lot of medical personnel is the speed at which amputation took place. They're looking at the day of my arrival at that hospital initially, and the day the amputation took place, just under 2 weeks. It is just an amazing thing to say, why so fast among a lot of professional people, medically professional people. Say, why did this happen so fast? We do not see this happening so often, that someone just walks into a hospital and within an hour or two they are already a candidate for amputation. That is my point really about this announcement that I was diabetic and the approach itself. Thank you guys. Let's watch more.